For the second time in 5 games, the Seattle Kraken have now been shut out, this time at the hands of the Minnesota Wild, extending their losing skid to 8 straight games. Seattle is now 1 loss away from matching their franchise record of 9 straight losses set all the way back during the inaugural season. The locker room was heavy tonight. Several skaters hung around way past when guys had normally cleared out just to sit in their stalls with their heads hanging, looking defeated. What's really tough about this loss is the fact that Minnesota spent nearly the whole game with only a 1-goal lead, and the Kraken still couldn't catch up. And the goals they scored weren't even too bad of goals to give up. But let's dig into them anyways. For the 8th straight game, the Kraken have now surrendered the opening goal, and to make matters worse, I'll remind you that the last time they did score first was against a very defensively loose, very bad San Jose Sharks team. Does that mean opposing defense must be nearly non-existent for Seattle to start on time? The jury's still out. To do the honors of keeping Seattle in that poor start streak, Matt Boldy teamed up with Kirill Kaprizov for Minnesota's first goal. Kaprizov starts Minnesota off with possession in the neutral zone and cruises past Seattle's blue line for the controlled entry before handing off to Boldy, protecting the puck with some smooth stick handling. Now, I'm not really sure what Dunn's trying to do with his stick here. There doesn't seem to be any kind of concentrated effort to nab possession. He's just kind of flinging it around, and he actually ends up hitting Boldy in the lower back. He's no threat to Boldy, who scoots around him, drives in the net, and shifts the puck from forehand to backhand before scoring. Joey Daccord bites on the backhand move, committing to the save at the top of the paint, which opens up space behind him, and all Boldy has to do is move the puck around his pad to put his team up 1-0. Seattle's defense doesn't make any kind of egregious mistake here. I mean, the crisscross movement between Kaprizov and Boldy sets the defense off kind of on the wrong foot, but Larsson's holding his man off as well as one would hope, and while both him and Dunn aren't able to shut down Boldy, it doesn't look like it's because they lost sight of him, which has been an issue as of late. Dunn's just beat with speed, and that's fair. The goal only has a 10.6% chance of scoring, logically leading one to believe this one's probably on Daccord if we're going to assign any blame to the Kraken. For the most part, this is just a well-executed play from Minnesota. Minnesota extends their lead to 2 off of a turnover with 7:25 left in the game. 2 turnovers actually occur on this sequence. The first comes at Seattle's blue line. Larsson shoots the puck off the boards high in the zone with the intent of getting it to Yanni Gourde, who's too far away to grab it and turned away. He's not in a flexible enough position to bridge a gap between himself and Larsson here, so he's not able to complete the pass to begin transition out of the zone. The intent to drive play north is great, but Matt Zuccarello's positioning makes this a pretty easy interception for him. Some passing ensues within the zone after Zuccarello takes possession, and Marcus Johansson rips a shot from the slot. The shot misses or is deflected, and Oliver Bjorkstrand retrieves the puck down in the corner. When he breaks off of the wall, Zuccarello steals the puck back off of his stick, loses it, and when Larsson goes to retrieve it, he passes back to Bjorkstrand. This is kind of unnecessary given they're both within something like 5 feet of each other, and the puck ends up slipping past Bjorkstrand and back to Marco Rossi, positioned right in front of a wide open net, who naturally puts this one home without a problem. Listen, turnovers are never great, but they happen. They're a part of the game, and learning how to minimize them, not just their occurrence in the first place, but their importance in the larger story of the game by making up for them in other ways, is crucial to winning. If Seattle's offense hadn't been so gruelingly unproductive, they might have found a way to lessen the impact of this mistake. But when a team's scoring lacks competitiveness, meaning it doesn't help them win games or does so unreliably, defense ends up bearing the brunt of the workload. Every defensive move has to be perfect because every minor mistake could lead to a goal against, which would be a devastating blow that the team doesn't have the offensive juice to lessen. I mean, Seattle had almost 40 minutes to tie this game and they couldn't. Not a great turnover, but one that, with some offense, wouldn't have mattered as much. Naturally, Seattle pulls the goalie with a couple minutes remaining in the game in a desperate attempt to do something offensively. Pulling the goaltender is pretty much a standard move in late-game, low-deficit situations, and it makes even more sense here given that the majority of last night's shot quality was generated on the power play. Man advantages are forcing the Kraken to play as a connected, cohesive 5-man unit, and although they couldn't convert on any of their 3 penalties, the power play yielded the best chances seen all night and made up for a lifeless 5-on-5 attack. Ironic, I know. Last season, Seattle was the most productive 5-on-5 team in the league. But anyways, not much can be said about this one other than the fact that Seattle doesn't have any structure in the neutral zone, so it's totally unsurprising they can't find an entry, which ends up leading to the turnover that the Minnesota Wild score on. At least 4 of Seattle's 6 skaters on ice are bunched up in the zone, meaning strong passing options are few and far between. And without viable support, whoever's in possession is more susceptible to pressure and more likely to turn the puck over, which is exactly what happens. And Joel Eriksson Ek grabs this one and finds the empty net easily.